Your boy Tommy D, the one and only, the nonprofit sector connector. A little bit of a scratchy voice, a little bit of a later night. I'll tell you guys about that in a little while. But I just want to say this. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Margaret Mead said that, and there was a group I used to be on the board of, and they used to start a lot of the meetings with that quote. And you know what? I think when we're talking about Rotary, talk about the Gold Coast Lake Success Rotary, and my two friends and colleagues, Chris Soto and Mark Kuat. Good morning, gentlemen. By the way, before I get into what I was doing last night, and then you guys tell me what you were doing last night, and we were both, all three of us, really out there making the world a better place. But I just want to say good morning. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. Great to see you, and thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Mark, good morning, my brother. How you doing, man?
Good morning, doing great. Thank you for having us.
100%. We're going to get fired up today. We got a lot to talk about, a lot of cool things going on. I just got to say where I was last night. When you're the nonprofit sector connector and you got this creative brain, sometimes things just come to you. So a couple weeks ago, maybe a month, my friend Erica Bradley at North Shore TV, where I do a couple of my programs, said, Tommy D, we got this teen TV program here, and the young people want to interview a nonprofit connected to the animal world. So I said, well, I got just the one, my friend Deborah Whitney from Positive Possibilities Rescue. So what we did was the young people were interviewing on the show between, like, let's say 3:30 and 5:30, Deborah, and we had like 11 dogs there. Guys, it was bananas. I mean, the dogs, I was supposed to be there setting up for the next part of the night, which I'll tell you about in a second. But my friend Eric is like, Tommy D, I need you to like help wrangle the dogs. So like we're bringing dogs in and out of the studio. I think I was on the show. I wasn't supposed to be on the show, but I was on the show passing dogs around. It was bananas. So shout out to them. Shout out to the studio and Rebecca and the whole team over there. And then I had said, look, if my friend Deborah is going to come out from Suffolk County out to Nassau County, well, then we got to make a little bit of a party. So we had about 45, maybe 50 people throughout the night come through, all different business folks, connecting, networking. I had my friend Darcy Carlton there from One Hope Wines. She was doing a wine tasting. They always donate money back to the nonprofits. And then I had a band called the Time Traveling Trio in studio. So it was like the perfect ADHD dream. Everything was there. You had all the activity, tons of dopamine flowing, gang. And I'm fired up, but I do have a bit of the scratchy voice because, I don't stop talking. I did not sing last night. I sang, but not on mic. We sang as a group because this gang was fun. They played, and then they played some Doors music at the end, and I kind of threatened that I would do Roadhouse Blues. So apparently in the future at some type of event, Tommy D is going to be doing Roadhouse Blues by the Doors. So look forward to that. So if you love coming here every Friday and you hear me sing every so often, well, maybe one night I'll just sing for the whole night, gang. So let's get into it. You guys had your own event, our own event. I didn't realize that we regularly meet that first Thursday for Rotary, and it's one of those things like I got a serious case of FOMO, fear of missing out. And last night I was like, how can I pull this off? How can I do the event that I'm hosting and get to the other event at the same time? It was literally impossible, but I was still in my mind trying, is there a way, Tommy? Is there a way to do it? There was no way.
We felt the vibes, Tommy. We felt the vibes.
Sending them to you, man. I was sending them, and I dig that place. Shout out to Oak and Vine, man. I was talking to Billy over there, and I really like what they're doing. I actually went to a Kiwanis meeting, so shout out to Billy and the team at Oak and Vine in Glen Cove, up North Shore here. All right, let's get into it, guys. I want to go into really your backgrounds because I was saying this to you both, like we're friends, but like we're friends like that you don't know a whole lot about each other yet, so it's this thing like, hey man, I hug you, love what you're doing, and then like I don't know Chris Soto's story, I don't know Mark Kuat's story, so I want to learn that. We're going to obviously get into the importance of Rotary. We got time to establish these stories together. In my world though, it's all about storytelling. It's all about, I say a lot, there was a show I used to watch called Biography on A&E, and I love that show because it tells people's stories. So why don't we do this in alphabetical order by first name and also how you guys are set up on my screen right now. Chris, I want you to tell me your story and then we'll move over to Mark. So tell me about you, your background, business wise, and then how you got to Rotary.
Sure. Before I do that, can I tell you about last night? You said we were going to get to tell each other about last night. So, real briefly, last night was a great night. We did have our monthly Rotary gathering, as you mentioned, and Oak and Vine is the restaurant of our newest member. So that's Billy Figaro, and it was a fantastic night. We're just talking about some of the accomplishments we had, talking about new things that are going to be happening. The restaurant is awesome, and he gave us a private room, and he cuts us the Rotary deal. So we don't like to spend a lot of money. We like to put our money towards good causes. So it was a great, really great night. So thanks for letting me talk about that a little bit also.
100%.
But
Actually, I'm going to share Billy's website real quick for everybody to
oh,
check.
that's good.
So Billy maybe gets as they say, a nice shot in the arm, some business.
He
You know,
should.
yeah, if you're talking about like, I did a video, my kids were laughing the other day because I did a video of me at a friend of mine's flower shop here in town talking about a little bit of home cooking, as I like to say. And I like to shout out the local proprietors and the business owners because it's so important. What did you guys eat last night at Oak and Vine?
What do you have, Mark?
I had a burger.
You got a burger? Good burger?
Oh, it was best one.
All right, good, good, good. How about you, Chris? What'd you eat?
Yeah, it really seemed to be a good burger because about 8 people had the burgers and everybody was going crazy about it. I did try it; was awesome. I had a salad, beets and goat cheese, and some chicken with that. So it was really good.
I love that. You know, it's funny. I had beet salad the other night. Shout out to the Long Island Imagine Awards. That's where I was Tuesday night, and they had a nice beet salad there, man. I was just a little. I gotta tell you guys, I was a little anxious with the beet salad because I had a lavender linen suit on that I just picked up for the Imagine Awards. So I was sort of like leaning over the table eating my beets, but I was so excited to eat them. But I was also trying to get up a network, so I was like, Tommy D, do not drop what I just saw in my mind, like one of these big old round beets landing on my lap. But I didn't do it. So the suit is safe, everything's good with the world. And that's beets are good for you, man. Healthy. All right, so we're talking burgers, we're talking beets. How many people showed up for the dinner last night?
There were 14 of us, so it was pretty nice.
Yeah.
It was pretty nice. I expect there were just a few people couldn't make it. You were one of them. It's just impossible for a few people. So yeah, I expect an even bigger turnout next time. So it's very, very good.
I love it.
I can tell you a little bit about my background if that's still on the plate.
It's well, now we ran out of time. We were talking too much.
Okay, we're done. It
Talking
was
too
great.
much
It
about
was a
beet
great,
salad.
great.
We gotta go right to Mark now. No, yeah, of course you can, Chris. Please take it away.
So yeah, background not too interesting. I'm a lot more interested in Rotary, but real brief. Yeah, started out in insurance a million years ago, first thing, and then I did a bunch of freelancing in the graphics world. I did some sales. I did some auto sales, wholesale, retail. I did some technology sales as well. I've done a lot of different things here and there. But what I was, while I was going through, my business life and career life, I'm watching, always get to see people on TV talking about what they're giving back. Oh, my charity. And we did this at my charity. And that always interested me. And I was like, one day, right now, not ready, and
Yeah.
one day I'll be there. And, you know, fortunately, blessings, etc. We were able to participate. And I said, this is a perfect time. I had a friend approach me and said, we've got a breakfast that happens every week. If you want to come down, meet some good people who are doing some good stuff, you're welcome. And I came down and boom, just got right into it. That shirt you're wearing is right from Rotary. I've got the same shirt, so you beat me to it today. So yeah, I love that shirt. One of my favorites.
You know, it's funny about this shirt, man. It's so funny because so everybody, if you're only listening, it says believe there's good in the world, be the good in the world. You know, they changed the colors so you can kind of read both. A couple weeks ago, one of my daughters was volunteering with Kiwanis here in the neighborhood. With she's a member of the community service club. My older daughter's a member of the Key Club, and we got to send a shout out to Talia Soto, who is founded the Interact Club at
My daughter, sorry.
South. Well, we were going to get to that point, but yes, Chris's daughter. So Talia came on a show called Long Island Changemakers, but it's just so great to see these young people getting involved. But my daughter, um, my younger daughter was volunteering with Kiwanis about right before Easter Saturday, and I went out. And I was wearing this T-shirt, and the folks over there were like, "Oh my God, Tommy, love that T-shirt. Where'd you get that?" So the funny part about it is on the back here it says West Hempstead Key Club. I'll tell you the story about this shirt really quick. We have a family foundation in memory of my cousin Linda, and we have funded chapters of Best Buddies in schools here on Long Island. Best Buddies International, Anthony Kennedy Shriver. School programs, vocational work, what they call citizens programs for adults. with intellectual developmental disabilities who are partnering and building friendships with what's called neurotypical, which I'm pretty much over the whole neurotypical thing because I haven't met any neurotypical people because I think we're all neurodivergent, neurodiverse. I know for sure most of the people I hang out with are, and so best buddies though. I'm at the West Hempstead Middle School, and this woman is wearing this shirt. She's one of the moderators of the program, and I'm like, "How you doing?" This is like way before I would just ask her stuff. I'm just kidding. I always ask her stuff, but I was like, "How you doing? I really like your shirt." And that's a way to get a shirt when you say things like that.
Oh yeah.
I really like I usually get a lot of hoodies by that move too. But it's such a cool shirt. And I noticed this morning it's got some bleach stains on the front of the shirt, but I still had to wear it because we were doing this show today. And I think we need more shirts is what this boils down to. So we're gonna get into Rotary, but I want to hear from my friend Mark Kuat. Mark, it's funny. Couple last year, maybe you all asked me to sponsor one of the food packing events, which I know is like really your thing, something you brought to the group. Um, when you did that, I had a check for you for some amount of money, and I was like, "Why don't you? What's it cost to be a member?" And he told me, and I was like, "Well, let me just write you another check." And I just said, "Make me a member of the whole thing." Now, I do my best to be a good member. I haven't been the best member, just surely for my calendar and what goes on, but I try to infuse what I can. Mark, your background, how'd you get to the Rotary? Let's talk about it, sir.
As you know, guys, I'm international. Well, I was born in Kazakhstan. It used to be part of Soviet Union, so I speak Russian, I speak Kazakh. So when I was in a college, like Soviet Union was collapsed and terminated, so all countries become independent. When I returned back, I studied in Russia actually by the St. Petersburg State University. Well, mathematician by my education. Then returned back to Kazakhstan. It was the wild west that time, it was no economy, no like communist or socialist economy was collapsed. Capitalism was not built yet. So it was like quite wild times. But at the same time, I was lucky enough, was first ever business school was opened in my city. So I graduated, was working then in telecom company, like on financial side. So then in a bank, I did, again, it was not structured. So it was kind of mixed banking what I did. It was corporate project financing, at the same time, like investment banking, all in one,
Yeah.
I have kind of experience. My industries was oil and gas and mining. It's the biggest industries for Kazakhstan. Well, then in 2009, when it was crisis everywhere, I with my family, we moved to Dubai. So just it was nothing to do in Kazakhstan. So
I never knew that. See, this is what this show's about. I never knew you. How long did you live in Dubai?
We lived in Dubai for 6 years. It was great time. So I would say it's a perfect transition time for my kids. So they learn English because they studied in it was British curriculum school. But when we moved to States 11 years ago, they was perfectly ready. So. And me and my wife, I would say as well, because we improved our English.
Yeah.
So, much better improvement was after I moved here.
Yeah.
So when I moved here, so I bought a financial franchise. I did some alternative financing here, and did a lot of networking. And it was when I probably met Tommy DiMisa first joined HBA group.
That's how we met, the Health and Business Alliance, a long time ago, man, for sure.
But prior to HBA, so I was a part of small group in Suffolk County. It's called LI Connects, and this is where I get in touch with Rotary. So as a member of that group, Eamon Awad, he's an all-time Rotarian, and he used to be a president of Smithtown, I believe, Rotary Club, at least last year. So And he introduced us food packaging to our group. He said, okay, guys, there is a project, if you don't mind, so like a $40 per person, and we can do like a package 3,000 meals.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was 14 or 15 of us, and we did, and it was 2017 actually.
Okay.
And and it was great experience, but what was shocking for me to find out, and I was only 3 years in the States.
Yeah.
And like States, richest country in the world, right? So like Long Island, it's the wealthiest area in the United States. So, and at the beginning of our first event, the guy Ted Swadworth, we all know him. So like
That's Swarthwood, sure.
yeah. So he did a small speech, and he said that, okay, on Long Island, there's many families where kids don't know what we will be having for the dinner, or if we will have a dinner. And I was so shocked to I can't explain. So, and then we did that event. It's really great experience when you have your hands on, like you do something by yourself, not just cut and check out. Well, I did this event twice in that group, and then I decided, okay, so Rotary, it's okay. Well, I should start. I should join Rotary, as actually advised me. So, and I tried first Great Neck Rotary Club. For some reason, didn't like it, but then
Sister club of ours, yes.
Yeah. And they so let me ask you, so they weren't, for some reason they weren't digging at the Great Neck Club, but then the Gold Coast Club really took to this, and we're going to get to that because we got to take a quick break. So I want to come back, but before we go to break, I want to do this. According to Long Island Cares, the Harry Chapin Food Bank here on Long Island. You know, gang, if you're not here, and even if you are here, you might not realize this. A lot of people think Long Island equals the Hamptons, and the Hamptons equals everybody has money and too much money and so much money, right? But no, listen to this. Here on Long Island, approximately 287,300 people. Let me say that again. 287,300 people on Long Island suffer from food insecurity. Okay, you think that's bad? Well, here's the punchline. 58,500 of those are children. 58,000, almost 60,000 children on Long Island, where maybe folks think this is so wealthy. And there's such disparity here on Long Island, and those of us who live here know that. But just take that in as we go to a break, everybody. We're going to talk about it when we come back. But almost 300,000 people on Long Island don't know where their next meal is coming from. We'll be right back. Philanthropy in Focus.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Brancu, host of The Hard Skills on talkradio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to The Hard Skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
Are back, and we were talking about food insecurity here on Long Island, and we're talking about how Mark Kuat really introduced the food packaging event to the Lake Success Gold Coast chapter. Chris and Mark are here with me. Chris Soto, Mark Kuat, and really we're talking about food insecurity here on Long Island, and it hits me, guys, so hard. Chris, I mean, where are you originally from?
I was born in Manhattan, so I'm from New York.
So you know that there's such disparity of access to food and access to resources and things like that here.
See it all the time.
See it all the time, right? And my friend Dr. Jeffrey Reynolds was saying that Dr. Jeff Reynolds from Family and Children's Association, he was on two of my shows, hashtag Ending the Stigma and also Long Island Changemakers, and he was just saying, you know, sometimes people look at people who are either homeless or don't have access to enough food and say, well, that person made some bad choices, and that's why that person is in that spot. And when individuals do that, and Dr. Reynolds, if I'm misquoting you, it was something to this, but I'm summarizing, but it was just, if as individuals we look at people who are in predicaments and tough spots that they made bad choices, well, then we can say, well, that's not some choices that I would make, so I wouldn't, that doesn't affect me. And it's like a loophole for folks not to have to feel any responsibility. It's groups like yours, Rotary, whether it be the Great Neck Club, your sister club of our club, and our club, or the club that Mark learned about this from through Smithtown and things like that are out there making the change, that are doing the important work, that are out there on the front lines. So Chris, you were already part of the club who was there first before you, like, give me that timeline. So how you guys all collabed and connected.
Yeah, no, so I was there first. I was I might have been, I think I was president of the club when you joined, or was that, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there was just a question that we started posing to our prospective new members and new members, if they had any passions and such, that they're welcome to share them. We'll get behind them, or they can just jump on board with us, not to feel any pressure. And we suggested that, and Mark took to that right away. He said, hey, I did this thing. It was really great. I was shocked about Long Island, the like you said, the wealth disparity, people needing food. And we said, that sounds great. If you want to run with it, we will support you. And we have we can make the right connections and make it happen. And yeah, I think I was there a few years already by the time Mark joined. And that was it. And that's how the relationship started, with Mark being part of the club. And he is by far a super integral member of our club. And as I can see, Tommy, you are going to become as well. And we're so excited to have you as a member.
I appreciate that. And you know what? If and not to be tough on me, but the challenge I've had is being available to partner up with a lot of what you guys are doing. That said, like when I sit on a board of directors, people don't put me on a board of directors because I'm really good at board governance or things like that. People bring me into organizations because I know a lot of people and I can put people in a room. So what I'd like to do is continue, and I promise to do my best to not book any other events on the first Thursday of the month. And it's funny, like I have.
You're a good looking guy. You make the dinner look better. So it's good to have you.
Stop it. All right. It's funny. Like typically those meetings are Friday mornings, right? So let's shout it out, Friday mornings. And typically I'm standing here in the attic doing this show on Friday morning. So infrequently do I make the Friday meeting. But so it's a breakfast meeting where folks get together, talk about the club, talk about what's going on. Let's go there a little bit.
Go ahead, Mark, tell them about the breakfast.
Breakfast? Oh, it's first of all, it's a great breakfast. So right now we have two locations. We meet in Bagel Boss in Lake Success.
Lake Success, right?
It's a great place, great food, and great discounts, which we like very much because it helps our club to save a little bit money and spend to the good cause.
I like that. So let me go there. So like I keep hearing that theme, and we heard about it at Oak and Vine, and they're doing the right thing, giving the Rotary price, and shout out to Bagel Boss too. That is because you're talking about keeping things as tight as possible so more money can go back and make impact, right?
Yeah, 100%. When we spend less, if there's extra after the breakfast, it goes right into the Rotary bank account. So we charge a fixed amount, and that money, the more that we save, the more money goes into the account. So it's great.
I love that. And that's so great. It's like when you think about how much need there is, and we sort of established some of that as it relates to food insecurity. I want to go back to like the history of Rotary, and you guys know some of the background. Being Mark, you were also the president of the club at one point too, correct? Yeah.
Three-time president, Mark
Three-time
Kuat.
president. See, I think it's best I stay as far away from this thing as I can sometimes too, because I don't want to turn around and all of a sudden be a president of something, I'm kidding. But I say what I was about to say before was I want to get more folks, from different parts of the community. There used to be, I think there used to be a club in my neighborhood here, right? And there's no longer a club, right? So I'd like to extend the reach of the Lake Success Gold Coast to our community here in the North Shore area and continue to bring more people together. So how I want to hear from you guys, like, yeah, the history, but also the now. How can somebody get involved and become part of Rotary other than just meeting Mark, in the parking lot of the Long Island Children's Museum to give him a check for the food packaging event, just give him a second check. Like that's one way you could do it, Mark. I mean, but there's probably more. You remember that day?
Time
Well, okay.
expected to get only like a sponsorship check,
Yeah.
but when Tommy said that he joining, I know Tommy, so Tommy is such a great value, So and I was so excited him to join in our club because I know that together we can do and much more.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. So talk to me about that, like what a membership looks like, how people can plug in. Let's and we'll weave in kind of some of the stats and history of Rotary.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you a little bit of that maybe. So, Rotary began in 1905. The gentleman and three of his buddies got together thinking about doing business. It eventually blew up. They actually were critical and the reason for the formation of the United Nations as well. It grew community by community. Now it's 1.4 million members, 35,000 clubs across the world. They do not work with government, okay, because government money might tend to get a little lost, in governments. So usually clubs, when they want to do international projects, do it club to club. That being said, how do people get involved? It's super easy. Internationally, it's even easier to get a new member because it's super prestigious. They kind of see the United States as a beacon to philanthropy, and good works. And people like really want to be a part of it, like with a great desire. Here, we don't do as good a job, let's say, as promoting it, but we're doing our best to get better at that. And I think, Tommy, you are helping us with that a lot, and we appreciate that, and we'll continue to. So we basically just invite people for a good time, a breakfast that's on us. Everyone and anyone in earshot of this is 100% welcome. You need to let us know in advance so we can make sure we'll cover your breakfast. Not a problem. You'll learn about the things that we're doing in our local community, which of course we can touch on a little bit, but then it just might strike a chord with you. If it does strike that chord, we want you as a member because you're going to be able to be a part of something that's a lot bigger than you. So I think that kind of touches on how we get people started and into our club.
Yeah, it certainly does for sure. And I'm going to share the website. We'll go to break in a moment when we go to break. But gang, if you're listening, go to gclsrotary.org. And I say if you're listening, I mean if you're listening only, and you're not going to see what I share in a second, gclsrotary.org. I'll share that. And recently, Gail Deutschman's become president of the club. And Gail and I had a cool situation because she had asked. I was telling her that I do the shows where Talia Soto had just been on the show. Got to keep shouting out Talia. She did such a great job. We had such a fun time. We'll probably put that show out next week. And in the same studio, I had Gail's son come out because he has an interest in media work, and he actually went to school for media and editing and all this kind of stuff. And that's called what do they call that? Networking. That's what that's called, right? Networking and connecting. And that's what I'm all about, the nonprofit sector connector. But while Rotary is not a group per se of a networking situation, it is a group of helping, right? Service above self, service for the community, but service for each other. Like that to me is just, that's old hat. Like Gail says, hey, could you, I told her about what I was doing. She's like, my son would love that. I said, well, I'll be in the studio doing 4 shows next week. Have him come through. And that's what we do. So we will be right back. I'll share the website as we go to break, and Chris, Mark, and Tommy D, Philanthropy. in Focus. Right back.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host a program, Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Hi, I'm Linda Marsanico. The A Train to Sedona is a memoir about my journey to love and compassion. It's also the name of my new broadcast on Wednesdays at 12 noon. When we are spiritual, we embrace possibilities and ideas, which strengthen our mind, body, spirit, health, and wisdom. On the A Train to Sedona broadcast, I plan to interview guests who embrace these expansive practices. Join us on Wednesdays at 12 noon on Talk Radio New York City.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
Right, cut through the attic. No, don't cut through the attic. Cut through the I mean, sometimes it gets a little bit crazy up here. You got to cut right through the attic. But cut through the static, join your boy in the attic. It's so funny because the way my brain works is sometimes the way my computer works. And I have a lot of open tabs and open files, and the computer's a little slow. So I was trying to show some pictures on the website, and it got jammed up. And that's on me and the technology I'm dealing with here. So let's go into, though, as I'm reading this food packaging event, Peace Pole Project, Gold Coast Rotary Clothing Pantry at the Gamach. Mark Krieger, shout out to my buddy Mark. Had an event yesterday, and I did not get there because I was prepping for my event last night. So maybe some of you guys were there, and we could talk about that. But serve as DECA judges, also involved in the Interact Club. We talked about Talia and how she founded the Interact Club at Great Neck South, right? Great Neck South?
Yes.
Because we had to like role play and prep her and I, because I kept in my mind thinking north. So I had to remind myself. But like, let's talk about, why don't we start there? The Interact Club. We talked a little bit about food packaging, and I will share. Mark and I have been talking to Ted and Declan Smartwood because I want to do an event over here up in North Shore area. And we will. It just, with my stuff, we're not going to pull it off. But so Mark and you and I, Chris, were talking about, I think it was just yesterday, probably do that when the kids come back to school in September. So excited about that. Going to be looking for some support from some of my local business friends. And when I'm sure it's going to be a great event because this is a great community where I live. However, I don't see enough of what I'm talking about. So we're going to do more of that. And you want to be a little disruptive in this world, even when it comes to giving back and philanthropy, or even especially when it comes back to that. So what about the Interact Club? Chris, why don't you talk about that? Because I feel like you certainly got a connection to that. What's that look like in practice?
Yeah, so Interact Club, a type of extension of a Rotary Club. Basically, you're sponsored by a Rotary Club. One of the members is usually the liaison between the Interact Club and our Rotary Club. They, however, do operate independently, come up with their own ideas. Certainly, we can pose some ideas, the liaison, and then they have a connection inside of the school that has to represent the school as well. In our case, currently, we have fortunately a member who is in the school and now the liaison of the club, working to do that. So that's basically it. They come up with ideas. If they want our support, we'd like to hear about it and keep a link, and we'll help them if we can. But they do things on their own, and it's really impressive. And they learn fantastic habits. That's the real thing, I think. They learn to become those charitable givers from a young age and take charge in doing it. So we love it.
Well, you haven't seen the episode where one sec, Mark, we're coming to you in a sec, but you haven't seen the episode yet because we haven't put it out there yet. But,
yeah,
just an inspiration, your daughter, because she saw so much watching you do what you do. You know what I'm saying? And that to me makes me very emotional because my youngest of my 4 children says to me all the time, "Hey, Dad, when are we going to do another day of service?" And that young man and his older sister, out of my 4, the 2 young ones, excuse me, were at our recent food packaging event. And listen, gang, if you haven't been, and I'm going to send out some pictures, and if you want to reach out to me, Tommy D at Philanthropy and Phocus.com, and we spell Focus Phocus. But send me an email if you want pictures and stuff, because the coolest thing is you got hair nets, you got plastic gloves on, you got like it's a whole thing. I mean, I actually, because the hair grows out of all parts of my face, sometimes they make me wear like a hair net on my face for the goatee and stuff like that. So, but Mark, all the funny pictures and stuff like that, because you see all these smiling faces, because we're making an impact. This year we packed 15,000 meals, right? It's unbelievable. It's not unbelievable because I was in the room and I saw it happen, but it is just so important. Mark, take it away because I know you had something to say there.
Oh, I just want to add a little bit about Interact Club. So, which is great. They raise money themselves, which is really great. And they decide themselves how to spend this money.
Yes.
Not asking liaison or whatever. So, because I know that it was a story about one Rotarian, who had a kidney transplant, I believe. So, and Interact Club, then they decide, okay, so to spend some money they raised to help this guy's family out, so which is really great, So, and as Chris said, that the mindset, it sets the mindset, I believe so, and these kids are gonna be great adults and caring about not just families, but I believe about their communities as well.
Like your kids who come to the food packaging event and do a heck of a lot at the food packaging event. So yeah, tell them about not only the 15,000, but we did more, right, Mark? What did we do?
By now we did 86,000 meals, and all meals was distributed locally. So it's and the way our club wants to not just food packaging events, but some other events. We try to involve our other clubs. We collaborate.
Mm-hmm.
We love to have joint events. We love to help each other, So how this way we can spread, I believe, the wider. So and not just to do like a food packaging for only our community and keep the all food here, because needs are it's everywhere.
Yeah. And you know what it is too? There had to be throughout the day, I don't know, 80, 100 people that came through the doors there, right? I mean,
Easy.
yeah, easily, because we got like how many lines? So, gang, let me give you the lingo if you've never done a food packaging event. So we have these long tables, and you have probably 15 people at a table, right? And
Yeah, 10 to 12 people, yeah.
12. So, and you probably had 6 or 7 lines in that. So 6
Yes.
or 7 long tables. So picture it, close your eyes, envision with me, or text me and I'll send you pictures. But like just vision it, and the hairnets and the whole thing, and you get guy at the first station pours in the beans, and then then the rice, and then the seasoning, right, and the vitamin pack, and all this stuff goes in, and at the end of the line is really kind of the fun, but you have to make sure it doesn't weigh too much. So we're like pouring out, pouring in, right? It has to be a certain. Then we have like the vacuum sealer, which is like the fun thing. Like my son loves that thing, but I'll tell you, he likes that a lot, but then he wants to do something else. So you do a half hour over here, you do a half hour over there, and it's like it's so special. So a buddy of mine came with his with all 4 of his daughters, and that was their first experience, him and his wife and the 4 girls. And that's kind of what sparked what we're going to do something over here, because I was talking to his daughter. She probably like 6 or 7, and I said, "What do you think? Is this fun?" And she goes, "Yeah, Tommy D, it's fun." I said, "We do this once a year," and she goes, Tommy D, I want to do this more than once a year. And I go, okay. I looked at her mom. We kind of caught eyes. We made it, and that's how it's gonna, kind of that ripple effect, Mark Kuat. So if you don't come up with this idea and you don't launch it, then we don't continue to ripple it out. So we're gonna do so much work together in that regard as it relates to.
And the good news is your event, Tommy, that you're going to help, spearhead here, and we're going to support you and make it happen really well, is going to be actually one of 3 events that we're going to be doing every year. So we do 2 now every year, because we do one at the Saddle Rock School. Yeah, it's an elementary school, and it's phenomenal. I mean, we've got every half hour a new set of kids rolls in. The teachers have it so set up.
It's like their class period. They come through and
You're correct.
Oh,
They
wow.
cycle through. All kids from the different grades cycle through. The kindergartners draw on the boxes and put little notes in the boxes. That's their contribution.
Yeah.
And it is phenomenal. So that's 10,000 meals right there. And then we do our 15,000. So bare minimum we're doing now is 25 a year, and
Yeah.
we're just going to up it.
I love that. You know, it's something, it's funny because I didn't realize last year when I sponsored it with you guys that Mark's like, Tommy D, you got to take some of these boxes of food. And I go, Mark, what are you talking about, man? He goes, that was part of your sponsorship. I go, dude, fine. So like, I got a little car and it's not always the neatest. So we're like getting as many boxes that fit in my car, and we had to put my son in there somewhere. So we stuck him. That was last year. But then I took him to Nosh Delivers, which is right in my neighborhood up like Glen Cove area, which is a pantry. So that was last year. And then this year, you guys were like, there's so much, take this food, take that. And I brought it to Nosh again. And Nosh was just a finalist in the Long Island Imagine Awards the other night. So the whole board was there. So it's just like, what I want to do is we're going to collab with them too to see, you know, we were talking about, well, the meal we have packed before has been the same meal, but there's different varieties. And you can ask the company, the outreach project, what is best for where it's going, right? Like what do they need? Like if they need breakfast meal, if they need, you know, the dinner meal, whatever, we can do that. So just so much. And that's another collab because the outreach project is a nonprofit itself, if I'm not mistaken, right? So
Yes,
that's
100%.
we just continue the ripple effect. So with 3, what now the Smartwood School? What time of year? Yeah, right. What time of year do you do that one?
Mark, when was that?
Okay, so with Southwood School, it's February.
Yeah.
February. I think I just called it the Smartwood School. I think I just did that. So Ted and
We got a
Declan,
lot of smart kids.
now you have your own school, gang. That's how it works on the show. You got to be careful. Things happen fast. We're going to come back in a moment or two, and we're going to talk about the future of the organization. And I would say the future of the organization is certainly the younger people getting more and more involved. And I laugh about it because sometimes people they say to me, "Hey, Tommy D, you know, will you speak as the young professionals group?" And I go, "Oh, can you be on this board of young professionals?" And I said, "I'm 47 years old. I'm happy to serve on whatever board. Just because I dress up like a child doesn't mean I'm actually that young anymore." But I think it is important to get our folks who are in their 20s and their 30s involved in community services early on. And I mean, like I said, in meeting with your daughter, Chris, she has such gratitude for seeing what you've done, and she learned from that and took right to this. And who's the moderator at the school? He's got like a nickname or something like that.
Mach.
Shout out to Mach. So
Mach is the best.
And that's what she said. She plugged in with Mach, and Mach was digging it, and that's kind of how that all happened. So,
Yes.
All right, we'll be right back. Quick break. We'll share I'll share the website again on the break. All right, everybody. See you in a minute.
Were you an essential worker during the pandemic? If you needed to learn stages of epilepsy, did you depend on advocates? Did you use new innovations to cope with mental and neurological issues? Maintaining high quality of life and keeping good mental health are what we all strive for. I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each week top healthcare influencers, professionals, and innovators answer these questions and more. Stay tuned on Thursdays at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will continue to be frank about health with all of you.
Ready to serve up success with a splash? Hi, I'm Bruce Kramer, a.k.a. the Corporate Cockroach.
I'm the Renaissance woman, Angie Snowball.
And I'm your strategy doctor, Dr. Melp Desange, inviting you to serving up success with a splash.
Join us as we shake things up with real talk and real strategies centered around awareness, action, and accountability.
And yes, there really is a cocktail involved. Please join us and sip your way to success.
Serving up success with a splash, where wisdom meets happy hours. Cheers!
Cheers!
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
All right. Join me in the attic. Let's get after it. Let's go. All right. So Chris and Mark are here from the Rotary Club, the club that I'm a member of. I want to talk about the Gemach. I want to talk about the clothing pantry and the connection to the club. Chris, you want to take a little bit of that one?
Sure. Basically, the Gemach is run by Mark Krieger out of his synagogue. He opens it certain days by invitation only for the purpose of getting clothing to people in need for free. So 100% free, appointment only, and he's ready to serve. It's the largest of its kind in the country. Uh, Pretty amazing. He has over 3,000 or 3,500 articles of clothing and accessories at any one time. So yeah, pretty amazing. Pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
pretty amazing. So go to Beautiful Memories Gamach, which is Gamach is GEMACH.org. And I'm doing the best pronunciation I can. Mark told me
For the
Gamach.
rest of us, it's a clothing pantry. That's what they need to know. That's what it is.
That's it. I'm sharing the website, everybody, but go check it out. And there was an event yesterday. I think it was connected to the Gamach, but it was also was around mental health yesterday. I couldn't get there. What was that, guys?
Mental health
That was a couple
was
weeks ago. That was
yes.
yeah, that
Mental
was
health was a couple of weeks ago. It was really great. Our past president was one of the speakers. That's Mariah Adamo. She's a partner at her law firm, and they're the only law firm in the United States that specializes in mental health law. Believe it or not. So this is pretty amazing, and she is a managing partner, I believe, at the firm. So pretty amazing stuff. It was a great evening, and then we had the event that you were talking about that took place yesterday during the day. Mark can tell about that because I wasn't able to make it.
It was like regarding estate planning.
okay.
It was. It's again. It was great event, and Elizabeth Forspan. So she was a main speaker at the event, and she really knows what she's doing. So it was. She's really great attorney. So and I even it was like I believe it was my second event with her as a speaker. But again, I learned something new, and not just me. So other people.
That's what it is. It's educational, right? Like so the club is community focused, but we bring in education about different topics and we partner up with different organizations and companies and things like that to continue to educate members in the community.
She's also like, I'm sorry, we can say she's like a super caring person, a great individual, and we had her down at one of our Rotary breakfasts before, and we really connected, and that's why I used her for our estate planning and help with my mom and dad's estate. My dad recently passed. My mom is has early onset. I mean, not early onset. She has dementia. She lives with us at the house, and she's helped set us up. So she's just been fantastic.
I love that. So, and shout out her name again, the attorney you're referring to?
That's Elizabeth Forspan of Forspan and Clear attorneys, and they're located here in Great Neck.
Love that. Elizabeth, thanks for what you're doing in the world. Let's go there. There's a couple notes you put in the chat here for me, Chris. I want to make sure we hit upon, and then also some just stats and statistics that you told me about Rotary, but why don't you mention what you talked about here?
Yeah, so our club, Rotary in general, has a big impact on heart surgeries for kids, and it started out of Long Island. Our club then added to it in a really big way and started oh my God, what's the name of it?
Gift of Life or no?
Thank you. Yes. So Gift of Life, and then we started Gift of Life India. We actually have 2 or 3 buses now traveling around India with our club's name on it. And we've done literally over 6,000 heart surgeries for infants and small children. And then on top of that, we've done spinal surgeries for them as well. These are all done free of charge to the families. We move kids around, we move doctors around, and it's really amazing and something we're super proud of.
As you should be proud of it. I mean, literally saving lives, not just saying it, but so I pulled up the website. I want to verify that it's the right website before I share it out there. I'm gonna drop it in chat, Chris. Let me know if this is the right website before I put it out there.
Sure.
But what do you guys think is, Mark Kuat, what would you say for the future of our club? What do you see as far as a vision? I mean, 86,000 meals, I think you said. I mean, that means we do 100,000 in no time. How do we continue to grow and what are some of your thoughts there?
No, it's again. So as you said, as you mentioned already, ripple effect. So when you do something good, like you attract something, some good to yourself as well. I mean, as our club, we grow organically. So I believe it's not just because of this event, but this event, I mean, food packaging, it it's a great, I would say, opportunity to involve not just members, but families. So where you can introduce like what you do and how you can help communities to and learn, teach the young generation, I think. So, and we as a club, as I said, that as Chris said, like we ask for new members if they have something in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Prashant, one of our like members as well. So great guy, like Bollywood actor. So
Hollywood, yeah. Prashant Gupta. Shout out to Prashant. He's over with my friend Jeff McQueen's organization, Mental Health Association, Nassau County. Prashant is great. He's so passionate, right? And he's really focused on the words about, like what I talk about, ending the stigma, breaking that stigma around, the conversations around mental health.
And this is something new. Our club is like he brought it, and Tommy, we find out that you're also very big on this. So, and this is something our club glad to support as well. So, and now it seems that our club will be also hosting some events, and will be helping out on extent we can do that.
I love that. We just keep moving it forward. We keep moving it forward. So I got the website, everybody. I'm going to share it real quick while while we're finishing up the show. But it's giftoflife.in, giftoflife.in. I'll share it while we're speaking. Chris, your vision for the future of our club and Rotary in general.
Yeah, I think it's a shared vision. It's one of the beautiful things about getting together every week with our club members is we all really seem to have this passion in common, and that's why fellowship is a big part of our club. Yes, this is absolutely our club in India. That is Ravi Bupapur, is the first name you see there, and he is one of our founding members of our club here. And he is also on the board of Rotary International, overseeing the $1.2 billion that they use to give out funds across the world, whether it's for eradicating polio or what have you. So our future, I see it as huge. I see our club future as very, very big, because more and more people who are looking to make change are getting involved. And right now, we're part of District 7255 on the island of about 1,500 members. And our club is about 33 members right now. And I'm sure we're going to be 40 in no time, but I think we are the fastest growing club on Long Island at the moment. So it's really exciting.
Well, I'll tell you something, just as a shout out to you guys. A couple weeks ago, I was invited by a friend of mine, John Amirati, to come out and speak at the Rotary Club of the Ronkonkoma. And John is on the board of directors for Blessings in a Backpack. And what they do, they've been on the show, him and Trisha Ewald, who's the executive director. They make sure that children who are food insecure go home with food for the weekend. So this food is packaged up, and these young people very discreetly are given the food, not to point anything out that might make folks uncomfortable, like no shame, no nothing, right? But John asked me to come out and speak at that Rotary, and before they asked me to come up and speak, they're all talking about, we were working in the soup kitchen last night at the Mental Health Association of Long Island, and we were doing this and we're doing that. I look over at John, I go, what do you want me to talk about? What am I going to teach these people about philanthropy and things like that? I mean, these are the folks who are doing the work, and they had such great things to say about both of you guys. Honestly, some of the folks out there were like, oh my God, you're in that club, Chris and Mark and everybody over there, and Jay, we love Jay and the whole thing. So it's like, it's all about community, and
everybody loves Jay. I gotta say, sorry, you got to come to the breakfast to meet Jay. He is a legend, and you'll have a good time. Sorry.
Don't be sorry at all. I had a couple one-on-one Zoom calls with Jay last week, and what a great story he's got. It's funny how people don't realize how cool their stories are. People say, oh, this is what I did, and I'm like, dude, that's really great stuff. I mean, he's lived all around the world. Jay, you got to come on Long Island Changemakers, get you in the studio to tell that story, so it's not just shared for me. I think it's funny how people don't realize like what they do in the world is so important, and humility, okay, but you know what? It's good to shine a light on yourself from time to time. All right. Listen, we're gonna have to leave it there. Mark, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your friendship. Chris, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your friendship. Guys, I want to do whatever I can to help us grow this club and lean in and bring my network to the club, because it's like last night, for instance. There was 50 people that came to this event to help see these puppies. By the way, forget about it. We didn't even really talk about the puppies, but forget about it. Gang, you'll see the pictures later on. But unbelievable what a turnout it was. Everybody's like with the puppies and stuff. But all those people should be connected to the work we're doing. And if they don't live in our community, maybe they need to join a club somewhere else on the island or in the city or whatever. But the point is they should be plugged into this work. So we're going to continue to grow. I'm going to continue to do what I can. Yes, Chris, one thing before we go.
I want to say one thing. We had a great time. Thank you very much for what you do. And we're looking forward to continuing what we do, just even more so. But know this, if something is truthful, fair, beneficial, and promotes goodwill, that's all about us. And we're all about that. So thank you.
Thank you. Mark, anything before we go?
Thank you. Thank you for having us, and thank you for letting the world to know about our club and about Rotary, what is more important, because we are everywhere. So, but many people just don't know that there is a Rotary clubs and there is opportunity to do some community service. So thank you, Tommy, for what you're doing. Thank you for having us, and it was a great show.
You're welcome.
And that is the ethical guide for Rotary, by the way. It has to pass that test for everything we do. Is it truthful, fair, beneficial, or promote goodwill? So it's a 4-way test.
That is a good test. Gang, we do a couple things on the show. I help nonprofit leaders tell their story and amplify their message, and that's my mission to continue to do that. I appreciate you all. I will be here next Friday morning, and we'll do it again. We'll have another important conversation. Make it a great day. Make it a great weekend. I'll see you all later. Bye.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.